Hello and welcome to your weekly juice. I'm Louisa Jewell, author of Wire Your Brain for Confidence, The Science of Conquering Self-Doubt. And I'm so excited today to be with my dear friend, Caroline Adams Miller, who is an amazing speaker and the incredible author of Getting Grit. So welcome, Caroline. I'm so glad to have you on our weekly juice.
Hi, Louisa. Let's juice. Let's do it.
So, Caroline, I am so excited about your Gritty Women project. I know you have a number of initiatives that you are doing around this. And so, first of all, I wanted to share this with my audience because I think my audience would be really interested in knowing more about how to be a gritty woman. What is a gritty woman? Tell us.
Sometimes I think a gritty woman is just a woman, period. Because I think there's so much more that women have to do to succeed and thrive and be recognized and get paid anywhere near what men make. So I think just being a woman means being gritty. The reason I launched the initiative of #Share2to2 and other kinds of things I'm doing with women is because I really do think we're going to have to be tougher, bigger, braver, stronger, bolder than we ever thought possible. A lot of things have, been flushed to the surface by the election of Donald Trump here in this country, and this is not meant to be political, but just to say a lot of things have come up. Dr. Larry Nassar, the gymnast coach who, violated so many young girls. And I think so many things are now bubbling to the surface that we're realizing as women, as feminists, if you choose to identify that way, that it's not just about being tough. We're going to have to be uber tough. We're going to have to be gritty if we're going to create the change, the lasting change that we all want to see with reproductive rights and parental leave rights and, equal pay for equal work rights and, just across the board. So that's a piece of what I'm focused on, is just getting even tougher, passing those lessons along to the next generation of women too.
Nice. And so what does it mean to be gritty, Caroline? What is grit for those of us who are not, quite sure what that means?
So grit is resilience times 100. It's that quality of being passionate and persistent around a long-held goal of yours. So it's intrinsic. And going out of your comfort zone to pursue it in spite of obstacles. But where I differ a little bit from the traditional definition of grit is, as I wrote about in Getting Grit, I believe that there's good grit and bad grit. So good grit, when you pursue these goals, actually awes and inspires other people to step back and say to themselves, wow, look at that. Look at the way that person is pursuing that goal, the things that they're willing to do, the delayed gratification, their willingness to do hard things in spite of the obstacles and the danger at times and the risks and the not knowing if you'll succeed. And that kind of grit, authentic grit, is what elevates everybody. The playing field is elevated when you have people like that in your family, in your community, in your job. It's just the best kind of grit, and you know it when you see it.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, and so I know a lot of what you're talking about is women supporting women.
Mm-hmm.
And why is that more important than ever now?
Oh boy, let me just tell you a quick story that really got my attention. Last fall, I live in the Washington, D.C. area. The Harvard and Yale University women's networks merged to form a salon series. And the first topic that they picked was women undermining other women. And it was mobbed. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. The buzz before, during, and after this event was extraordinary. People couldn't get tickets. There was just a real frenzy to get into this salon, and I got in. And I listened kind of slack-jawed, but understandingly, as dozens of women shared, the fact that not all women want women to succeed. And story after story of being undermined on sports teams, in extracurricular settings, in job settings, and really painful stories. So I think there's a misconception that all women are a universal block and that we all want to come together and help other women to succeed, but it's really not true. We have to call out that elephant in the living room. So I've been chewing on that, and I've also been chewing on the fact that humility is an interesting quality because it's part of being gritty. You need to be humble to be gritty. However, women get dinged for being gritty. So in professional settings, if you're humble, you're called not particularly leaderly. Now, humble men don't get dinged that way. So for women like you and I and all kinds of other women who become solopreneurs or entrepreneurs, so we can have flexibility for all kinds of reasons, you know, to travel, to raise children, to be partners, to have aging parents, to do other things. What I find is that when women share their successes online, social media, with their friends, they don't get that active, constructive, responding response that we would hope for. So I noticed that if you post pictures of your vacations or your children or whatever it is, you get a lot of likes. The minute you post about something you succeeded at, like with you, you know, publishing this amazing book you just wrote, you don't always get the same support from women. And so my hashtag share 2 to 2 movement is designed to override any settings that would exist in a woman's brain about envy or fear of being left behind, or why didn't that happen for me, or whatever else goes through women's minds when they don't support other women. And I want us twice a week to share 2 women's successes at hard-fought goals on 2 social media networks. So share 2 stories to 2 social media networks. Just do it. Make it an automatic habit. That way we don't have to be our own publicist, which always feels creepy. I don't like it. Who likes it? But you have to do it if you're going to get business and stay in the game. So why don't we take that burden off other women's shoulders and begin to elevate the state of play so that women stop being the largest group of bullies in the workplace, which is true, or we stop being kind of hostile to other women, and let's do the right thing in the right ways to help all of us succeed, flourish, and be our best selves.
That's amazing. I think it's so important. You know, for me, I think that the world is abundant and I'm happy to share other women's successes. I don't feel that there's a need to be jealous or
Right.
worried that I'm left behind. I focus on my own race, and I think that is so important, isn't it?
Well,
You know,
it is, but you're like that. You have kindness as one of your top 5 strengths. You're one of those people for whom this is like weird. Like, why wouldn't people do this, right?
yeah. So we're going to post the hashtag. Now, you also have another event that's coming up in April. So tell us about that.
Yes, I do. Thank you for asking. I'm going to be at the Kripalu Center for Yoga and Health, one of my favorite places in the world. If you've never been there, you have to go. I'll be doing a gritty women's weekend with Dr. Jen Welter, who is the first female coach in the National Football League here. She was a coach with the Arizona Cardinals. She blew through the glass ceiling in organized football, which is male dominated. We just had the Super Bowl here. So we're going to be walking women through, how do you create a playbook? How do you create for success? How do you create a team, the right team around you? What are the goals you have? Basically, what are the plays you need to run in order to win in life? And so on and so forth. So we're going to talk about huddles and plays and touchdowns and the rest of it. But you're going to walk away transformed if you can get yourself there April 20th to 22nd. It's going to be fun. It's going to be challenging, but you will walk out different if you can make it there. So I hope I'll see you there.
Well, we are going to have the links below for that event as well as your hashtag so people can start sharing that hashtag as well.
Yeah.
But Caroline, before you go, what is one thing we can do to be grittier women? Can you give us a tip or a strategy?
I I would say find somebody or notice somebody and deliberately have that kind of ordinary grit in your midst. Be closer to people who, with humility and patience and persistence, pursue hard goals, because the easiest way to transform yourself is to transform your environment. And I think that starts by having these kinds of people in your life, one person at a time, and hopefully it would be one woman at a time, so you have role models and you can see, this is the kind of person I want to be. Then play bigger, go bigger, be bold.
You know what, Caroline, I have to say that you have been that person for me, Caroline, because you are really the personification of grit you know that it takes hard work to get ahead, and I watch you, and I am inspired by you. I'm inspired by everything you're doing.
Ugh.
So thank you, because you have been that person. And it's really true, when you have someone like that in your life, you
Mhm.
start to say, some of that for me. And also, I can do it. I can do it. If Caroline is doing it, I can do it too. And I think it's true. It's so important to have those role models. And recently I was talking to a gentleman who runs some angel investing group, and he said, we never get women pitching, to us. It's always men. And I said, well, you need more women. You need more women, so that we can see that this is a possibility. And I think that once you start to believe that it can happen, you'll start to see it. So, but we need to
Wow.
be able to see those role models. So I totally agree, Caroline. Thank you. So thank you so much. Again, we'll have all those links below. I'm so grateful to you for being on our weekly juice. And so I will see all of you next time on my weekly juice. And in the meantime, go kick some butt. All right. See you,
Thanks,
everyone. Thank
Louisa.
you, Caroline. Love you.